stories beyond imagination.
The spell of darkness had already wrapped the village's edge. Harvesting tools lay scattered in the open fields, abandoned as if the farmer had run away in a hurry, leaving his work unfinished. The moon faintly lit the ground, but the air carried an unnatural heaviness. Villagers often warned never to travel this road at night, for this was where the hunter passed. Who the hunter truly was, no one knew, only that he was not human. Many had disappeared here. Their vehicles were found, but the people never returned. That night, a school bus full of students broke down on this road. The engine suddenly died, and no matter how hard the driver tried, it would not start again. In the silence, only the whispers of frightened children and the eerie stillness of the dirt road could be heard. Panic spread inside the bus. Some students peeked out of the windows. In the distance, among the crops, a tall shadow moved. "Something is there!" a boy shouted. But the driver hushed him. "It's just your imagination," he said, though his own voice trembled. Suddenly, the air turned icy, as if the soul of the night had been shattered. The children felt as though someone was standing nearby, watching them. Then came a heavy thud on the roof of the bus, like something massive had walked across it. Every breath froze. But what was most terrifying was the faint click-click sound. Inhuman, like a mix between machine and beast. Gathering his courage, the driver picked up a torch and stepped outside. He circled the bus, but nothing was there. Only strange markings in the dirt, footprints with unnaturally long, finger-like toes. As he turned back, he looked up at the sky. Near the moon hovered a small glowing orb. It was so far that one might mistake it for a star, but it pulsed with light and was slowly descending. The driver rubbed his eyes and realized this was no star. It was a ship. His heartbeat raced. Without saying a word, he rushed back inside the bus. The children sensed something was happening above them, though they still had no idea of the horrifying truth. Once inside, the driver locked the doors. "Everyone stay quiet and don't look outside," he ordered. But fear was already etched on every face. A girl whispered to her friend, "I don't think that's the hunter. It's something else." Her eyes were wide with terror. Suddenly, a blazing light engulfed the bus, turning night into day. The light came from above, through the windows. The children saw a small spaceship hovering directly overhead. Its surface was black, but a blue electric glow rippled from its core. The beam of light narrowed until it focused solely on the bus, like a searchlight scanning its prey. A chilling scream echoed inside the bus. It was not human. It sounded like the twisted melody of strings, plucked from the air itself. The children covered their ears, but the sound pierced straight into their minds. Then, on the ground in front of the bus, a shadow began to take form. Slowly, it molded into a humanoid figure, though twice the height of a man. Strange wings jutted from its shoulders, and its face was blurred, a fusion of flesh and machine. The children understood then. The so-called hunter was, in truth, an alien, a predator that had haunted this land for centuries. The alien placed its long hand on the bus's bonnet. At its touch, the metal began to burn, glowing as though thrust into a furnace. The driver tried to start the engine again, but the ignition was dead. The alien's eyes flickered like sparks, as if peering directly into the souls of the passengers. Suddenly, another beam of light descended from the spaceship, striking a boy who sat near the window. He screamed as his body lifted into the air. His arms flailed, but he was pulled upward effortlessly. The other children shrieked, "They're taking him!" The driver, in a desperate act, flung the door open and ran outside. But before he could take more than a step, the alien's eyes flashed, releasing a searing blue beam. It struck his chest, throwing him to the ground. His scream was cut short. Inside the bus, the children could only watch in horror, powerless. Then another beam fell from the ship, this time not just lifting a child, but half the bus itself. Metal groaned, glass shattered, and the vehicle was torn apart as if it were paper. This was no ordinary hunt. The aliens were here for something far greater. Moments later, the light vanished, and the mangled bus crashed back to the ground. Inside, most were unconscious or gravely injured. Only a small girl, Anaya, remained awake. She saw the alien enter through the broken doorway. Its body was a grotesque fusion of flesh and machine, its star-like eyes glowing coldly. But the most terrifying part was when it spoke, in a voice that was eerily human. "You are witnesses!" Anaya trembled. This creature wasn't here merely to kill or feed. It was searching for something. Summoning her courage, Anaya whispered, "What do you want from us?" The alien slowly turned its head, and for a moment its face shifted, mimicking a human visage. "We have been part of your world for thousands of years, but you have always mistaken us for phantoms in your tales." Its voice was robotic, yet laced with sorrow. Anaya realized these beings had once been hunters, but now carried a deeper knowledge, something humanity could never truly grasp. Suddenly, another ship began to descend from the heavens. It was larger than the first, and its light radiated with terrifying intensity. The alien raised its head and unleashed a piercing scream, one filled with fear. For the first time, Anaya saw dread in its eyes. It wasn't alone. This new ship did not belong to its kind. It belonged to its enemies. The night sky was about to become a battlefield, and the children trapped below would be caught in the middle. The arrival of the second ship flooded the sky with violent shades of blue and crimson. The light was so powerful that nearby crops ignited, smoke rising into the air. Through the shattered windows, the children saw two alien creatures face each other. The first alien, the hunter, spread its metallic wings, its eyes glowing with crackling electricity. The second alien, descending from the massive ship, was larger, its skin shimmered like silver, and in its hands it held a weapon resembling a radiant sword. The two enemies locked eyes, ancient hatred burning between them. Anaya whispered to an injured boy beside her, "Do you see? They're fighting each other. Maybe we have a chance to escape." The boy only nodded weakly, his head bleeding. Outside, the battle erupted. The hunter leapt into the air, unleashing bolts of lightning. The ground trembled, dust rising in storms. The silver alien swung its sword, forming a blazing arc of light to deflect the attack. Each clash lit the sky like thunder, each strike splitting the earth. This was no human war. It was a clash of powers beyond imagination. The children screamed inside the shattered bus, trapped between gods at war. The doors were bent and useless. Anaya spotted the emergency exit at the back, barely ajar. She signaled for silence and whispered, "If we stay, they'll kill us. We have to run." Some resisted, frozen in fear. But when a beam struck dangerously close, melting steel like wax, they realized time was running out. The battle outside raged fiercer. The hunter beat its wings, summoning a cyclone that ripped glass from the bus and cut the children's faces. The silver alien stabbed its sword into the earth, summoning walls of radiant light to trap its foe. Their powers seemed equal, neither gaining the upper hand. But the humans were mere insects caught between titans. Anaya began leading the children out one by one through the emergency exit. Under the cover of night, they sprinted toward the fields. Escape was not easy. The ground was scorched with fire from the ship's engines, the crops reduced to glowing embers. The children weaved through the burning fields, their feet blistered from the heat. In the distance, Anaya spotted an old barn. "There!" she shouted. "We can hide inside!" They ran toward it as the earth quaked behind them, the alien battle roaring like mountains colliding. Inside the barn, the children huddled together, shivering in the darkness. Only thin beams of moonlight filtered through the cracks. Anaya urged them to stay silent. But then came a sound, slow, steady breathing from the shadows. When she turned on her torch, they froze. In the corner stood a third alien. Unlike the others, its form was more human-like, though its eyes were entirely black. It raised its hand and spoke softly, "Do not be afraid. I am here to help." The children gawked in disbelief. Could this one be trusted, or was it another trap? Anaya asked bravely, "Who are you?" The alien replied, "We are of the same race, but not all of us are the same. Those you saw are hunters. They see humans only as resources, but I am a defector. I knew one day they would reveal themselves openly. I came to save you, and to end this war." His voice carried truth, yet fear still gripped their hearts. Outside, the battle grew louder. Explosions shook the barn, filling the air with smoke and fire. The rebel alien spoke quickly. "Their fight won't last long. Whoever wins, you will all become prey. I must get you out." From his belt, he pulled a small device glowing with blue holograms. "This will open a path that can take you far from here, but only briefly. You must stay with me." Anaya nodded, realizing there was no other choice. Suddenly, the barn's walls quivered. The hunter had found them. Its blue beams now tore straight toward the barn. The rebel alien activated the device. A shimmering portal, like a doorway of light, appeared in the center of the barn. "Run through it!" he shouted. One by one, the children dashed into the light. Each felt as though they were falling through the sky, until a new world opened before their eyes. When Anaya and the others emerged, they found themselves in a strange place. It was neither earth nor sky. A floating island adrift in endless darkness. Stars glimmering all around. The rebel alien appeared beside them. "This is my sanctuary, a place where they cannot find you. But it is only temporary. You must understand, your world is no longer safe. The hunters will return again and again." Fear settled on the children's faces. They were no longer just prey. They had become unwilling participants in a cosmic war. Anaya and her friends stood on the eerie sanctuary, the stars impossibly close. The rebel alien raised his hand, conjuring a hologram of Earth. "Thousands of years ago, we came to your world. Some of us befriended humans, but most saw you as nothing more than prey. Every tale of the hunter, every myth of spirits in the night, those were us. Your world was always their hunting ground. But now it is different. Now they want open dominion." The children's veins turned cold. Humanity wasn't just prey to legends, an invasion was coming. The rebel turned to Anaya. "There is something in you they desire. Your mind, your spirit. Humans create what we cannot. Imagination. They wish to bind your thoughts to their machines, to make themselves limitless. That is why they take you alive." Anaya felt a crushing weight on her chest. "Then we must fight," she said, "but we are only children. What can we do?" The alien gave a faint smile. "Sometimes wars are not won with weapons, but with spirit. And you possess what they never will." Suddenly, the sanctuary's stars shifted. A vast portal ripped open, and through it came another ship. The hunters had tracked them even here. Figures emerged, their bodies gleaming with light, their weapons ready. The rebel shoved the children behind him, raising his hands. A shield of blue light shimmered into existence. The hunters fired beams that shook the sanctuary with every impact. The children screamed. This was the moment where either the rebel would sacrifice himself, or they would all be annihilated. The rebel looked at Anaya. "You must decide now. Your mind, your spirit can strengthen me. Together we can stand." Anaya hesitated, fear freezing her heart. But then she whispered a prayer. "If humanity is to survive, I will give my strength." She placed her hand in his. Instantly, a surge of golden light erupted. The shield no longer glowed only blue. It blazed with radiant gold. The hunters' weapons faltered, their bodies recoiling as if crushed beneath invisible weight. Human spirit and alien. Power had fused into something new, a force that could not be broken. In the final moments, the rebel unleashed all his strength. A storm of light burst outward, consuming the hunters in a blinding explosion. When the glow faded, they were gone, vanished into nothing. The rebel collapsed, his body flickering with dying energy. He smiled faintly at Anaya. "Your spirit won this battle. Remember, this is only the beginning. Your world must be ready." With that, his form dissolved into starlight, scattering into the void. The children suddenly fell, thrown back into their world beside the ruined bus. But dawn had broken, sunlight spilling across the fields. Anaya gazed at the sky and whispered, "This war is no longer a tale. We are the witnesses, and this story will never be forgotten."